What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're talking about bike FTP and why it's important for you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about bike FTP, functional threshold power. So this is going to be a number that's generated with your output on your bike that you should be able to withstand this effort for about an hour in a time trial environment. Why this is important is next week I'm starting Ironman training for Chattanooga, and my bike workouts, typically the same when I do my 70.3 plan, calls for 3 bike rides a week. Your long ride on a Saturday. It's going to be a easy bike ride on Thursday, but on Tuesdays is going to be a very important interval bike ride. What that means is it's going to be a predetermined workout lengthwise, just say 40 minutes. It'll be a 40-minute bike ride, but it's going to have some interval periods built in there. So it could have 10 by 20 second sprints. It could go up to, further in the plan, 5 2-minute efforts, but they're going to have to be at a certain power range or a certain effort range to say. I do these workouts typically on Zwift because it's a more controlled environment. You can do these workouts outside if you do have a power meter on the bike. But what the good thing about power is, if you're not too familiar with working with power on the bike, is it's a number. It's what your body's producing effort-wise, regardless of the environment or conditions. So regardless of if you're going uphill, downhill, headwind, tailwind, the temperature, whatever it is, it's whatever your body is putting out. So on any given day, that number, that power that you're putting out on your bike may be a different mile per hour. So that's why it's very hard to train these things and say, all right, I'm going to go out today and I'm going to ride 18 miles per hour, and on my intervals I'm going to do 20 miles per hour for my hard efforts. Well, if you're going into a very hard headwind that's 15 miles per hour that day, you may not be able to even hit your 20 mile per hour mark, and you're going to be trying to put so much extra effort into that to get to that miles per hour that it's just not feasible. But when you use this power number, it's something that just doesn't change. So when we get to this though, how do we get our power number? Things change. I'm coming off of a lot of running the first 4 months of this year and running that 50K. So my biking kind of went to the back burner a little bit. So my power number that I'm able to produce is going to be less than it was when I was training for my 70.3s. And that's okay, but I need a starting point. So what's great is with Zwift and having an indoor trainer, a smart trainer that controls the resistance levels automatically for you, you're able to go into the program Zwift, load these FTP tests. There's a few different types of them. It'll take you through a very hard effort, a short workout, and get you this number that you have right now. And once you have that number, you can take that number, use it in your workouts, structure workouts off of that, and then go retest yourself in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, see if that FTP number is increasing, and then readjust your workouts after that. So I'm going to be stepping into a 20-week plan. Goal is to take this FTP test now, get a baseline, structure my workouts over probably the next 8 weeks, and then do this FTP test again and see if I've improved. So with the training plan that I'm in, it's more of a 80-20 training plan. 80% of the efforts throughout the week are very low endurance, zone 2 heart rate effort, very easy. And 20% of my workouts are going to be at interval speed, at higher zone efforts, higher power efforts. That's why you'll notice out of these 3 bike workouts, really besides those intervals that you're doing on that Tuesday, the rest of your biking for the week is really just easy endurance, get the miles in type of workout. So what we're going to do here is real quick, we'll talk about the quick different FTP tests there are. These are done in a controlled environment on your smart trainer. Zwift is a very easy way because they have the programs already loaded and they'll take you through them. I've done the 20-minute effort test, how much average power you can produce on your bike over a 20-minute span. When you load this workout, it's going to take you through a nice warm-up, a quick couple peaks of a high power output on the bike, and then you're going to go for 20 minutes and try and hold the highest amount of power you can. That's the typical FTP test that I've done in the past. It's a very hard effort for 20 minutes. You get pretty gassed. But there's also something new that came out not too long ago. Is they're now doing the FTP ramp test. What the ramp test is a warm-up, which could be 5 or 10 minutes, and then they'll start you at a certain power number, very easy, every minute, and go up 20 watts a minute after that until complete failure. Now, with me, I really don't train to complete failure, so it's going to be kind of interesting to reach that point. This is the first time I'm ever doing that FTP test, but it's just a little quicker way to gauge what your FTP is, and then I'll use that ramp test again 8 weeks from now, so it's the same type of test, and we'll see if my number went up. So what we'll do is we're going to go into the garage. I'm going to set up the FTP ramp test on Zwift. I'm going to show you what it looks like in the menu. And then hopefully if everything records right, you can come along for the FTP test, see how it's structured, be able to see it maybe before you ever do this type of test, and then maybe you'll get an idea on how to do it yourself. Like I said, very important when you're doing some structured training to get that number so you're not just going in there and kind of just winging it every time you have a workout to do. Very important if you have a coach for them to have those numbers. And it's a baseline. It's something you can see and tangibly then try and make better down the road. So let's go in there, let's set it up, let's get in the pain cave, let's try and get this ramp test done, and we'll see where we're at from there, and then we can talk about how we're going to structure the workouts after that. All right, later. All right, we're in the garage here, going to get ready for our ramp test. So when you go into the Zwift program, hey, look, Flora Duffy and Laura Phillips, 2 pros are at it right now. Going to ride type training. I'm going to go under FTP tests. Now there'll be a couple different FTP tests like I explained earlier, but today we're going to do the ramp test. It's the first time we're doing the ramp test. And we just did a 10-minute warm-up. We're going to keep that consistent. Anytime we do another ramp test in the future, we'll do that 10-minute warm-up beforehand. I'm going to click workout. You can choose where you want to be. We'll stay in New York. And there we go, workout, ramp test. All right, go to ride. All right, and you'll see on the left, that's the workout. We're in the ramp test. So we have a 5-minute free ride. So to be on-screen instructions. So we're identifying the upper limit of my current aerobic capacity, which I'm not looking for anything crazy, so we've been kind of out of the bike game for a while. And after I get these power numbers, I'll be able to use them for structured workouts next week once the Ironman training starts. And then we'll probably test it again in about 8 weeks and see if we've made progress. The top middle of the screen there, you can see my current wattage output. I want just to hold 80 to 95 RPM for the cadence. That's going to be right under that heart symbol in the middle up top. It says 77, 78. That'll get up there in a little bit. Remain seated. It's a seated test. No pushing like you're climbing up a mountain on the bike. I naturally hold about 80 RPM due to the crank arm length and longer legs. Stay smooth. So as you can tell on the top left, 5-minute free ride, it's allowing me on the trainer to be at any power that I feel comfortable at. Then the trainer is going to set the power for me every minute, going up 20 watts every minute. So it will only allow me to do 100 watts after the warm-up and until failure. You can see the heart rate, 131. I'm sure that's going to climb up. FTP is based only on your best 1 minute within the test. Then they take a percentage of that minute wattage to give you your FTP. So I'm on the Wahoo kicker. Prior to this to be the first power test I do on the kicker. I had the kicker snap before. What I did notice with that is it did give me a little higher power outputs during my workouts. So I'm not really going to be able to compare the results of this test to when I was on the kicker snap. But this will be a good baseline. Then I'll test it maybe 2 other times during training over the next 20 weeks to see the progression and to readjust the numbers for the workouts. What's good about getting your power number is if you have a power meter on your bike, you can train in certain levels indoors that'll correspond to your bike when you're outdoors. So on race day, everything's different. You may have a hard headwind in your face and you're not going very fast, but you're going to wind up putting more power out. So if you're able to see, you know you want to hold 175 watts during your Ironman. You may not be going as fast as you want because of that wind, but if you hold that 175, that's what's going to get you through the race without burning yourself out. Power is one thing that doesn't change, when conditions change. That's just your effort from your legs directly to your bike. So training at a mile per hour, I have to go 18 miles per hour on the course. But if you're into a headwind the whole time, you're not going to be able to accomplish that. And even heart rate. I'm coming off being sick right now, so my heart rate's naturally a little higher than usual. My body's a little stressed. So things happen, You may not feel great that day, so your heart rate's going to be different. Heat affects it. All right, stay seated. Right at 100 watts for 1 minute. So the resistance on this trainer just got super easy. It's almost like a recovery flushing my legs out from that warm up. You're all right, it's extremely easy. But over the next 10-12 minutes, it's going to get extremely hard. So side note, and I'm recording this right now. We're using the Logitech webcam hooked up with the Blue Ice microphone. We're using OBS Studio app, which is allowing us to share the screen as well as the webcam. Just went up like 20% in watts there, so now we're at 120. We'll see if I fast forward through some of these earlier parts until we get 5 or 6 more minutes in. Got some music on with my Aftershocks headphones. Got to stay motivated, get in the zone. Remember to hydrate. I just watched somebody's rant video on YouTube last night and he was in pain at the end. If I remember whose it was, I'll put a link in the description. He did a great job on it. These tests hurt, but they're necessary when you're going into any type of structured training plan. So you're not just winging your workouts when they say, do a sprint, do this. You have actual numbers, and we'll get into that as we build those workouts after we get this number. So every time you see that red arch is the next segment. So if you're not used to Zwift, maybe for my Peloton users, things like that, you usually see this watts number. Top right is the percentage grade. So that's why I'm slowing down, because it has me going up and uphill. And it's not letting me go above 140 watts. So no matter how much I pedal, it'll still do 140. So I can only go a certain speed right now on those inclines. All right, 1 minute at 160. Yep, we're still doing pretty good. The minutes are going quick now, but I remember my first FTP test was at Merrick Bicycles. We did a team FTP test night a couple years ago, and that's how we got some good numbers. We had a couple trainers lined up, big group of people cheering each other on. You really need to be pushed and motivated
Try and do these kind of by yourself. You may not go as deep as you think to get that high number that you're looking for, your true number. So that's kind of why we're doing this. Holding myself accountable. Hope you get some info out of this. You can push it out there. And knowing that some people might watch after this is done, it's going to help me push a little harder here. So a little sweat coming on me already. We're at 180 watts. Just for sake of putting things into perspective, at St. George 70.3 over the weekend, I believe it was Sam Long talked about getting on his bike. He had some time to make up. So he was pushing 400 watts for the first few minutes of the bike course. And then Lionel Sanders, who, you know, his goal out there for a 56-mile bike in a 70.3 race is like high 300s, 370 watts for 56 miles. That's insane. So it's very humbling when you hear them talk about those numbers. Shows you how much room you really have for improvement. All right. Yep, they are right. Everything's starting to work now. Cadence is holding just under 80. Heart rate's almost at 140. This program's great the way it guides you if you're totally new to trying this. Kind of giving you step by step on how you should feel during this test. That's the key. Keep everything loose. The more you tension up your upper body, the more you're going to get tired. Just focus on those legs driving and try and keep that cadence up. All right, we're going to get into this. So start focusing more on my breathing. We're almost at 150 heart rate. It's over 150. Definitely going to a dark place soon. Might get a little loud in here. I gotta turn the other fan on. Oh man, that lactic acid is building up. Resisting the urge to get up off the saddle, to push. That's cool. Oh shit. Oh. We're done. Alright. Alright, so 253. When it's your first test, it is what it is. It's just a number to give you to start building those workouts. We're going to cool down and pull out some final thoughts.
All right, so there you have it. The FTP test is done. It's in the books. We got our number. And like I said, I'm not too concerned about the number. It is a little lower than previously when I was on the Wahoo Kicker Snap. But I know what effort I've put into the bike so far this year. I know what I'm capable of, and I know how these workouts are going to progress. So I am pretty confident the next test or two during the training plan are definitely going to increase that number. The only thing with the ramp test at the end was when I got towards the end and I was super gassed and I really couldn't pedal anymore, it flashed up on the screen, "Are you done?" And I continued to pedal a little bit more, even though the power number was dropping very steadily, as if I thought I could keep pedaling. And then about another 15 seconds later, it popped up again and said, "Are you done?" And I clicked yes. So I don't know if that had a difference in the number. If I would have clicked yes, I'm done right away, if the number would have been a little higher. But that's fine. Like I said, this is just a starting point. So in the future, when you hear me talking about the interval bike workout that I have to do, and I start throwing out maybe like a power number in there on certain power numbers I had to hit that week, you'll understand what I'm talking about and you'll see the progression in that. So I think it was pretty good. It definitely hurt at the end. My legs just could not pedal anymore at that. It is what it is. There's only room for improvement, and that's what's great about this whole journey is the bettering yourself and bettering your own workouts. The race is only against yourself. At least for me, it is. So hope you got something out of this. So now when I talk about the type of workouts I do weekly, you'll understand what's going on with some of the bike stuff. And anything else, comment below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully it motivates you to get on your trainer and click that FTP test if you haven't done so yet. And get that training number so you can see what these numbers mean when you're out there. I don't know if I got into it too much, but I do have a power meter on my bike, so these numbers are going to correlate more for myself out on the road as well. I'm going to be able to judge now on my longer rides, if I have to do them on Zwift, what my effort is for when I go outdoors. So if I go out on a really windy day, which it usually is here on Long Island, I'll be able to put a steady power output on my bike using that meter in the same vicinity that I was able to do in the controlled environment inside on Zwift. So again, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below on anything you notice in the video or any questions you have, and subscribe to the channel. Lots of content coming forward here about the journey. Got 20 weeks of training coming up, and it's going to be cool. I'm also going to be doing a video in the next few days about the training as a whole and what plan I selected and how I'm going to go about it and how it's structured. So I hope that'll give some new Ironman distance triathletes like myself some tips and tricks. So, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one. Enjoy, stay safe, and balance that life 1 mile at a time.